Let's come now to 2020 and the Democratic contenders coming to the defense of Senator Kamala Harris, the senator being targeted by online attacks they are slamming as racist and comparing to birtherism. Donald Trump Jr. attributed for elevating the attacks with this retweet about Harris's race. He later deleted it. And here's what former HUD Secretary and 2020 candidate Julian Castro had to say earlier.
This is the game that these folks play. They put something out there. You notice what he did. He tweeted it out, and then he deleted it like a coward so he can say, oh, that was just a mistake. But he knows what he's doing. He's giving voice to these racist, utterances about Senator Harris.
Let's bring the panel back in. Jonathan Alter, Susan Del Percio, and Roland Martin. Roland, you first here. Don Jr.'s spokesman told the New York Times, quote, that Don's tweet was simply asking him if it was true that Kamala Harris was half Indian, because it's not something he'd ever heard before. And then once he saw folks were misconstruing the intent, he quickly deleted it. What do you make of this?
Donald Trump Jr. is Fredo, and he clearly can't read a bio. All he has to do is go read the bio of Senator Kamala Harris, then you'll understand her background. And so he is probably the dumbest of all the Trump children. But here's the real issue here. The attacks on Senator Kamala Harris's blackness really started the moment she announced. And where it's really coming from, this is black self-hate cloaked in black self-love. There are people out there who are saying that because she is not a descendant of slaves, she really can't speak to the black experience. They dismiss the fact that she went to an HBCU. They dismiss her actual background, and that's what the real issue here. There are black people out there who are angry that who say Obama didn't do enough for African Americans, and what they're not doing is demanding really policy questions. They're questioning her blackness. You even have some fools out there who are black, especially a lot of black men, who are criticizing her because her husband is white. And so I understand that folks are talking about Donald Trump Jr. retweeting this, but really, you've got some asinine black folks out there who are the ones who are questioning her blackness, and they are shameful, and they are despicable, and then they should be called out at every turn.
Why do you, Susan, think that the Trumps keep wading into this territory? I mean, we can specifically focus on Don Jr.
Well, Don Jr. the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And that's exactly what his father would do. He put out these comments, and he likes to stir the pot to Roland's comments. I mean, he is kind of Fredo, but I don't even give him that much credit, probably. But he's stoking the fire, and he thinks he knows what he's doing in these things, and clearly he does not. And all he wants to do is provoke a certain part of Donald Trump's base out there and then say, oops, I'm sorry. Well, that doesn't cut it. But I'd just like to say one thing about Senator Harris. I was watching her up there, and it was great to see a woman being up there having the debate she had. And I understand the importance of her race and her sex and what it means to a lot of young women out there. But what I saw was the only candidate acting presidential who I could see going up and meeting with world leaders and having a conversation. And I think she went in there prepared, and she now has a lot of people surprised and shocked, and they don't know what to do with it.
If not going up in a debate. I mean, that would be an extraordinary thing if she went up in a debate against Donald Trump. Yeah, I mean, we couldn't predict the victor on that one. So, Jonathan, he says he deletes the tweet. We're back to Donald Trump Jr. Cannot undo the impact of it. Talk about the kind of damage it does when you put these ideas out there.
So anybody can now drop anything into the bloodstream, but this is not just about Donald Trump Jr. You know, there was a story about how these Republicans are putting up these fake websites about Democrats. So they've decided that whether on Twitter, on this issue, or against other candidates, they're going to try to disrupt the Democratic primaries. Now, what does that remind you of, Alex? Who are the last people who tried to disrupt one of our elections? Russians. Bob Mueller indicted more than a dozen of them for using social media to try to disrupt our elections. This time, we're going to see what you might call Russian Republicans who will be doing this between now and November of 2020. And the public is going to have to be informed that you have people in our own country, Republicans, who are acting like Russian agents basically sowing disruption in our democracy.
Last word quick to you, Roland.
Alex, is vital. The African Americans out there who want to see in the black agenda, that is fair. But to have this purity test for Senator Kamala Harris is shameful. They should be called out. And African American leaders, civil rights leaders, Congressional Black Caucus, and others should be challenging these folks because it is ridiculous. And what they are doing, they are actually trying to suppress the vote. And don't be surprised if you see Russia in 2020 pick up on this to form a sort of dissent within the black community. And again, if you want to challenge Senator Harris on policies, do so. But do not dare question the issue of blackness. Because if you do, then you can't talk about, of course, Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm. You can't talk about Malcolm X, whose mother's from Grenada. You can't talk about Harry Belafonte, Sidney Poitier. You can't talk about Colin Powell, Eric Holder. There are many African Americans who have family from the African diaspora, like
Roland,
Senator
I just
Harris.
I want to pick up on one of your points. I'm not sure that all the people tweeting this material are even black, because
you have a lot of people who are fake.
2016. You saw Russians and Republican operatives trying to get African Americans to not vote for Hillary Clinton. So there's a lot of people who are not who they say they are. So I think
Jonathan, a lot of these folks are black. Jonathan, I've been dealing with them since February.
Some of them are.
They even call into question my blackness because my paternal great-grandparents migrated from Haiti. What I'm saying is those folks who are black, who are doing this, shame on all of you. Question her policies, but don't you dare question her blackness.
But just so you know, in 2016, a lot of them were Russian. They were Russian sowing dissent in the black community.
But I've met some of these people personally. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right, you guys, I'm glad to have all three of your voices chiming in on this one, Jonathan and Susan and Roland. Thank you so much. Have a good 4th, guys.